Good morning. Today is currently Monday. I don't know what date it is. I'll put it over here. And oh my goodness, it has been a wild couple of weeks. I'm currently 3.5 weeks postpartum, and I'm going to update you on everything that's been happening. But I'm just making myself and the man responsible for this child a snack. I'm just having some yogurt with walnuts and blueberries, and I just kind of like to break the walnuts into pieces so it's not so chunky. I guess you could chop it up, but I'm a bit lazy, so I'm just gonna break it up with my fingers. Oh, so much to update you on. Oh my goodness, it's been a long time since I've uploaded a video, and honestly the postpartum life has been, it's been okay. It's been a little bit rough some nights, but overall it's been better than the first time around. So I don't know if I've ever mentioned, but I have another son. I have a son, not another son. He is 6 years old. And when I had him, I was about 31 years old. And I feel like the recovery from that was a lot harder than this time around. I'm currently 38. No, 37. I'm 37. I'm 37, not 38. And this time around, it's been a lot easier. I think it's because my body just knew what to do, what to expect. Just gonna add some blueberries. They're in season at the moment, so they're nice and cheap and they're super tasty. The camera is currently balanced on a step stool, a book, and some booby bookies. If you don't know what booby bookies are, they're like these lactation cookies, help to bring in your milk. I don't know if they work, but they're pretty tasty, so I've been eating them. But this is postpartum life. This is what the camera was sitting on. Step stool, booby bookies, and a book. And this is our snack. I'm just going to attempt to drizzle some, hopefully I don't drop the camera. I'm just going to drizzle some honey over the top to make it extra tasty. And that's it. There's our snack. Okay, I'm going to attempt to film while she is sleeping on me. Meet Summer. She is our little baby girl that was born on the 17th of October. I tried to film the entire thing, but it happened so quickly, I actually just couldn't film because it was so intense. Okay, that's a bit better. This is my little yogurt snack. Oh my god, that's so good. So I managed to film a little bit of footage on the day that I went into labor. It's the 17th of October and my water broke this morning. My water broke at around, it must have been 6:30 this morning. If you've ever had your water break, it feels like you've like weed your pants, but like an uncontrolled wee. And it was just a bit, and I was like, oh, maybe I did wee my pants, I don't know. And then I just tossed over back in bed and it happened again, and I was like, oh, maybe my water broke. I think indeed my water broke because then it started happening more frequently. I was like, okay, it's happening. It's exciting because today is my actual guest day of when the baby was going to come. My due date is actually tomorrow. And as I'm talking to you, I'm having a contraction right now. They're not super intense at the moment. They're quite mild. Like I can breathe through them, but they are ramping up. So I think this might happen quicker than I expect. I thought I'd record a little bit in the beginning while I still can actually talk. Just having breakfast. Oh, yeah, sorry. That's a pretty intense one. I'm recording on my phone, so the quality is not great. I'm not prepared. I haven't charged the other camera, so I'm just going to be recording on my phone the whole day. So excuse the not great quality, but hopefully it'll still be a nice experience to look back on. I'm in tears. I just had the most intense contraction. Oh my god, it was so long. Oh, and I just had to breathe and cry through it, but it's gone now. Man, that was hectic. Look at me, I'm in my gown, looking real attractive this morning. I'm like a day away from my due date, so I feel ready, but I'm also like unprepared. Like I don't know what to wear. I don't feel like putting proper clothes on. I just feel like, I think I'm gonna go like this to the hospital. I mean, I'm gonna have a baby, like no one really cares what I'm gonna wear, so I'm going in my gown and my slippers, and yeah, hopefully I can film in the hospital. I don't know what the policy is, but I'll keep you updated. Shoo, that was a really intense one. Up until that point, the last video I filmed, I was like, I can't do this. It's just so intense. And I didn't have another person helping me film either. And Ty was also like busy doing stuff and getting our stuff together. So filming wasn't really a priority. It was around probably 6:30 when my water broke. And nothing happened up until probably 10 o'clock in the morning. And then that is when I started having my like first couple of contractions. At around 11 o'clock in the morning, my contractions were happening quite consistently. So I think they were happening every 10 minutes for about a minute each. After an hour, my contractions were happening like really steadily, like every 4 minutes for a minute. And I was like, this feels intense. And midwife also said to me, one of the signs of how you know you're going into real active labor is when you can feel the contractions and then the pressure by your bum. And I was feeling that. So it was consistency and then the pressure by the bum and happening very close together. And at this point, it was probably around 12 o'clock, 12:30. And I said to Ty, I'm like, I need to go to the hospital. This feels like really intense. And I don't want to have one of those situations where I give birth in the car or on the side of the road. So we hop into the car. It's the longest drive of your life. Everyone is driving slowly. There's traffic. The seatbelt is uncomfortable. The pressure is intense. The contractions are intense. Get to the hospital at around 1 p.m. And my midwife is there by the entrance with a wheelchair, because at this point I couldn't even walk. I was just in so much pain. So she wheels me into the birthing suite, and it must be like 1:15 at this point. I'm trying to describe to you what the pain feels like. It feels like the most intense period pain you've ever felt, like that cramping pain, but towards the middle of the contraction it feels like a twisting pain, like your insides, I know it sounds hectic, but it feels like your insides are twisting. It is brutal, honestly. And then eventually like it releases and the contraction stops and you're like, oh my goodness. And this was happening so regularly. When you're having a contraction, the feeling to push is so intense and you can really feel the pressure by your bum. That's the only way I can describe it. It feels like you need to have the most ginormous poo of your life. And you're like so constipated, but you just have to push it out. And at this point, I'm like, okay, give me an epidural, give me some pain relief, give me something. And the midwife is like, sorry, but you know, you're very close to having this baby. You can't have an epidural. The only thing you can really have is gas. And I was like, dying inside. But I was like, give me the gas. So I was just sucking on the gas. I was hunched over the bed. And like at this point, I felt like I was in some sort of in a dream. That's what it feels like. You're in this weird, crazy dream that is real. You can't wake up from it. The only way to end this dream is to have the baby. And that feeling is actually quite terrifying, knowing that there's no way to opt out of the situation but to have the baby. At this point, I'm like, how far is the baby? Is the baby ever gonna come out? It's so crazy because I didn't do anything to prepare for labor. I just sort of let my body do its thing, and the body just knows what to do. So it must have been around like 2 o'clock now, and the pressure to push this thing out is just, it's uncontrollable. You can't stop that feeling of pushing out. As the contraction happens, my midwife was there. She's like, you're almost there, because obviously like they're looking down there, they can see what's happening. I can just feel that like I just want this to end. And she was like, okay, the baby is ready to come out. So when you feel the contraction, you need to push like you're having a poo. So this is TMI. If things like this gross you out, please just click off. I pushed like I was having a huge poo, and then her head came out. But just her head. And I was like, oh my God, her head is hanging out. And then the midwife was like, that's great. You know, her head is out. Now you've got to push the shoulders out. I'm like, that was already intense. Like shoulders are bigger than a head. And I was like, now I've got to push the shoulders out. But I'm like, I can do this. I've pushed the head out. I just want this to end now. And then the next contraction happened and I just like freaking pushed my heart out. Shoulders, everything came out. The relief you feel when the baby comes out is like euphoria. It is amazing. Everything just stops, like all the pain ends and you're like, I can't believe it's over. It is so animalistic, the whole experience. And they gave it to me straight away. But I'm just like awkward because the umbilical cord's still hanging out and you know, the placenta's still inside. They've like put it on me and I was just like, oh, this is so hectic. But it's lovely as well, but it's hectic. And then they're like, okay, you have to push the placenta out because the placenta's still in there. And I was like, oh God, more pushing. But luckily the placenta is just like this big jelly parcel and it was pretty easy to push out. So all I had to do was like stand and then do a push and then it just came out. It just like flopped out. They said that I needed to get stitches because I had a 2nd degree tear, which they said is quite normal. I literally was in labor probably for 3 hours, which I think intense labor for maybe 1 hour, overall labor 3 hours. That is pretty quick. We were in and out of the hospital within 6 hours. Like that is pretty quick. That's like boom, out. I can't believe how normal you feel after having a baby because I was so, like you saw in that video, I was so swollen. I was like, I just felt really uncomfortable. I just wasn't myself. And now 3.5 weeks later, I'm feeling so much more like myself, which is very exciting. Obviously, like I still have a bit of a postpartum belly. I'm trying to like get back into shape. I'm obviously not rushing it, but I really would like to, you know, get back into shape. Okay, I managed to put it down. My shirt is all scrunched from wearing the carrier, but let me give you a quick little postpartum body update. This is kind of what it's looking like at the moment. These shorts, they're great. They're actually from Uniqlo, and it's obviously holding in a bit of my tummy, and I've still got that really intense like line going down the front, and obviously a bit of a jelly belly from carrying a baby, so trying to lose a bit of that weight. But overall, yeah, these shorts keep it in, which is quite nice. I'm dropping the weight quite easily. I'm not even doing anything really intense to try and drop the weight. My appetite has really stabilized since having her. When I was pregnant, my appetite was like all over the place. I had to constantly eat. So I felt quite out of control. But now that she's out, I just feel normal again, which is so exciting. Thank you so much for watching this video. And I actually want to film a postpartum outfits video as my next video because I'm still in my postpartum era and I'm still trying to figure out how to dress this postpartum body, like until I obviously get back to my like normal body. But at the moment, you know, my boobs are like, they look like a bad boob job. They're so intense and my stomach is a bit flabby and I just feel like I'm a bit top heavy. So I'm trying to figure out how to dress myself. Cool. Anyways, thanks again and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Is that me? Hey little one.